All right, welcome back to the trade recaps. So what day is it today? Thursday. On Tuesday, we ended up passing the 450K funded challenge. We passed all three of the evals. There's like a video of the reaction on my story and Instagram and everything. On Reels, you can go see the P&L and the trade that I took that day to pass the 450K funded challenge. So I'm sorry I didn't make a trade recap for that day. I was just so happy and excited. Like I wanted to just enjoy my day. And then yesterday was CPI, so I didn't trade. And today was our first day on the funded stage. So I showed you the entire process of passing 350K evals with a 12K profit target. Now there's no consistency rule. There's no profit target. There's a max payout of 15K that you can request at 50% of your profits. So the plan is to grow the accounts from 150 to 180, get them 30K in profit, and then take out 50%, which was going to be that 15K max payout. But of course, after having a flawless week, we start the fundeds and we lose our first trade of the fundeds, which is fine, right? I'm not going to complain about it. Like, it's part of the game. If it was a bad trade that we took and lost, I would be upset. But this was honestly a really great trade, and I thought it had a really good probability of playing out. But clearly just the bias was that we were going to move sideways for all of New York session, I guess. So can't really blame myself or be hard on myself for this loss, but I definitely want to go back in and go over why I think it was such a good trade. Also, then I called out this 1 minute inverse on NQ after. At this point, I already locked myself out of the accounts, like manual lockout all of Trade of 8, but I was still on stream and I called out this 1 minute. I was like, bro, this is going to cook. Ended up cooking to 1 to 2.7. Peepit took it, but anyways, I didn't take that, right? That's not my trade, but I'll go over that one as well. Account balance. Yes, let me show you my account balance. Where is the fucking Tradecopia? Oh, there she is. All right, so not a pretty account balance showing today. Lost 1,600 on all of the accounts. So minus 4.7. It's all right. We're going to bounce back from that. First day on the fundeds, I have a daily loss in at 1,500, and unfortunately had some slippage on these two accounts. I'm going to try to reset that, but yeah. So starting off the funded phase, 1,500 negative, which is sucks, but it's okay. That's why I manually locked myself out right away, like right when that trade hit stop loss. I was like immediately manually locking myself out because I can't let my emotions get to myself when it's the first trade of the funded accounts. I just got to keep going and do exactly what I've been doing because it worked in the eval. It's going to work in the funded. Head down and keep pushing. So let's go over a bit of the bias. Coming into the morning, we're still respecting 4-hour bearish structure. We're still respecting this daily bearish gap that we came up and tapped inside of. And I think a clear target for shorts is going to be this monthly bullish fair value gap, right? I have an alert set at this monthly bullish fair value gap on ES. I have it on NQ as well. And the second that gets tapped, I'm going to switch my higher time frame buys to bullish. But as of now, I'm still bearish. 4-hour structure didn't look too good, but we had this 2-hour bullish gap right here that I wanted to see if this could get inversed, right? I said if this 2-hour bullish gap gets inversed, then we're definitely going to go back down to Asia lows. That was the plan. And by the time I got my entry, right, first of all, if I go on the 30-minute time frame and I look at the previous sessions, this did look like a strong New York reversal, right? Asia pumped, London session pumped. We took out London highs on ES. We had an SMT at London highs. And it looked like a classic New York reversal, right? Asia pumped, London pumped, sweep of London high, and then New York reversal. That was my prediction on the bias for the day, targeting Asia lows. And then we came up on NQ. We came up Didn't really take out any significant highs, which I guess was the biggest problem of why this trade didn't play out. Is I didn't wait for it to take out a new high, right? We had come up, tapped into the 15-minute bearish gap, and then we created a 4-minute bearish gap right here at market open, came up, tapped into the 4-minute bearish gap at market open, and then had a very strong 1-minute inverse to the downside, right? So right here, we came up, tapped into the 4-minute, 1-minute inverse to the downside, right at 9:38. So pretty early into the session. I'm not a huge fan of taking trades early into the session, but when it comes to shorts, lately this week they have been cooking right at market open. So I wanted to take this 1-minute short targeting Asia lows right here, 1 to 4 risk to reward, and then it ended up not playing out. Called out this short. The reason why, so that was the first trade, right? This is the trade that I lost, closed my accounts, right? Manually locked them out. Now, what ended up happening with price action is that we actually came up and we tapped into this 4-hour rejection block. Now, rejection block is the wicks that we leave that caused a move, a continuation of a move, right? So right here, we came up, we tapped into this 4-hour bearish gap, we left this massive wick. What does price do? Come up, sweep out London highs again on NQ this time, because ESO had already swept them out, taps into this 4-hour rejection block, and creates 5-minute bearish structure. So we create 5-minute bearish structure, and at this point, we get a, I didn't really like, so we got a 5-minute tap in, 3-minute inverse to the downside. I didn't take this trade, or I didn't call out this trade. I didn't take any trades, but after this one, I didn't call out this trade because the 3-minute inverse happened after we had already tried to inverse it, rejected, failed, and then we came down and inversed it without sweeping out a high, right? So we came down, we tried to inverse the 3-minute, it failed the first time, right? I'm talking about this 3-minute right here. Let me mark it out so you guys can see it better. So 5-minute bearish structure created after tapping into the 4-hour rejection block up here. We're on the same page. Now, 5-minute continuation gets created, 5-minute bearish gap gets created, we tap into it, and we try to come down and inverse this 3-minute bullish gap. We fail, okay? Then, without sweeping out any internal high, we come down, we try to inverse it again, and we actually do get it inversed. But it's like, I already saw it reject. Now it's inversing it, but we haven't seen a sweep of any internal high. I'm not too confident with it. I faded it. We come up, we sweep out the 5-minute internal high again, and then we get a clean 1-minute inverse to the downside right here. And what's it called? Break of structure. Not only do we get the inverse, we also get the break of structure. My stop could literally just be right there at that 1-minute swing high, and this ended up playing out to 1 to 2.8, but I did not participate. So I did not take this trade, but I called it out on stream, and a bunch of people took it, smacked a little dub. I'm not upset. I don't feel FOMO. I know this was a great trade, and it would have played out insane if my bias was correct off market open. I'm going to take it as a learning lesson. I'm going to move on, and that is trade recap number 8 and 9, I think, because I didn't do one on Tuesday, and I didn't trade Wednesday. So, yeah, we're there. We passed them. Now it's funded. Now it's time to get fucking serious, and there's no time to let the emotions play. I lost a trade. I went straight to trade of 8, manual lockout. Bang. Cannot let the emotions get into play. Going to be very strict with my daily loss limit, very strict with my conviction, and if I get it right, I get it right. I'm going to bang, and I'm going to get an insane trade, right? If, look at this, for example. If this would have played out, I would have made 7K, right? So can I be mad at a $1,500 loss when I was trying to make 7K? No, I can't get mad at myself for that. So would have been insane though. Would have been insane to start off like that. That literally would have been ridiculous to start off like that. I would have built a 7K buffer on the first day. But whatever. Didn't play out. Fuck it, we ball. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.